into business and transformation. We have some exciting speakers. We have Honda, NTT Docomo, and Orient to talk about business and transformation, and again, the theme of urbanization. Before that, I'd like to introduce Jan Signell. I've worked with Jan, together with Jan, and he runs region Northeast Asia, so he's a perfect gentleman to tell you exactly what's going on here and how it's transforming. Jan.
Thank you very much, Douglas, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just to recap a little bit, APAC is in Ericsson divided into 3 regions. One is India, Lanka, another one is Southeast Asia, Oceania, and I'm there in charge of Northeast Asia, that in the Ericsson world means mainland China, South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Let's talk a little bit about our journey and how it began. Ericsson was founded in Stockholm 1876. And just a few years later, 1892, we received our first order from China. It was a pioneer called Gustav Öberg who facilitated the export to Shanghai. And 2 years later, or the same year, we sent 2,000 telephones on a boat to Shanghai. They arrived 3 months later, and what you can see on the picture here is a telephone station in China from the 1890s. Another thing, we had a distribution set up in Kyoto, Japan, 1894. Quite funny, we have found a letter sent from that distributor to headquarters at that time. And I read it sometimes and realize that things are quite similar then as today in the type of dialogue we have. And yet another example from Korea. We sold 1896 a telephony system to the dynasty. And what is a little bit funny with this picture is that when the king called on this great-looking phone, people were told to bow to the phone before answering it. Just a few examples of the history. So we have been present in this region, driving telephony for over 120 years. So let's jump where we are today. In mainland China today, we have 1.2 billion users of mobile telephony, which is of course the largest in the world. In Japan, I think many of you know when Japan started the iMode services, which was actually so in Japan that most people's first encounter with the internet was over a mobile phone, over this iMode service. And it predates the iPhone with many years. And today, it's very clearly so that Japan is a front runner in LTE. For instance, NTT Docomo, together with us, has been driving the LTE standard. So, and they were the first also to deploy LTE technology. In Hong Kong, we have a penetration of 233%. So more than double the population. And a smartphone user in Hong Kong downloads on average 2 GB of data every month. So the usage is happening. Taiwan has a mobile penetration rate of 127%, and 80% of the population today subscribes to 3G. The sorry, in Taiwan. And maybe the most astonishing when it comes to LTE is South Korea. Out of the population of 51 million, already today 26 million have got an LTE subscription. And it's certainly so that South Korea is leading the development of LTE and LTE Advanced. So the way we work in Ericsson is that we take a strong focus on our customer's customer, the end users. And we really put a strong effort in understanding what the consumers really want to have and how things are working. So we have for many years worked with what we call consumer labs. In the latest consumer lab study, we were focusing on city life. And one of the things we saw that where we have the most unhappy subscribers in the network was in transportation. And the worst of the lot was subway systems. So in Mexico, New York, London, Paris, and Tokyo, 50 to 60% of the users were complaining about the performance and the services they could get in subways. One of the leading cities in our region here, where they have worked a lot with this, is Seoul in Korea. And we have worked a lot about providing better network performance and services and such. And let's go to Korea, and let's go to Seoul and look into the situation. We have 10 million people in Seoul. 7 million people commute with the subway system every day. And as you can see from the picture, it's a very complex network. So, let's take up an example. You're in a hurry, and you're going to travel from Seoul Station to Gangnam Station. Then there is a very frequently used app that people in Seoul are using, called, sorry my pronunciation, Signell, that is helping a lot in this community. And this morning, I'm in a hurry, and I need to pick the fastest route, not necessarily the most convenient. This app is telling me it takes 33 minutes, and I'm going to pass 11 stations. The app is telling me it's going to cost 1,001 roughly US dollar. And the app is also telling me that I should sit in the first carriage to the left. When I do the 3-minute transit in the station, I should be in the right spot so I could really make it quick. Moreover, when I reach Gangnam Station, I've got 12 exits. It's also telling me the exits to go. And if you have certainly there's also facilities provided in the station. This is just one example where ICT is helping people to commute much better. But it's not just enough for us to understand the end users. We also need to understand how we can enhance the user experience. And I'm going to show you some numbers that are quite mind-boggling from my region. By the end of the year, it's expected to be 76% smartphone users in Japan, which will then be the highest in the world. Every week, Chinese users are doing commerce over the phone. And today, Taobao has already surpassed the combination of Amazon and eBay in volume. In Korea, 43% of the users are watching video on the phone every day. And moreover, our consumer lab study is showing that 49% of those are willing to pay for a higher quality video. HD videos, and so on. So if this is already in the making, you can just imagine where this is leading going forward. So the conclusion is that the user experience needs to be enhanced. People will just ask for more and better quality all the time. And the networks really need to be prepared for this. One example on how we're working. We have a smartphone lab in Hong Kong, where we are working with all the leading phone manufacturers and suppliers in the world. And we are also working with chipset manufacturers. And just one example out of many of what we're doing is that we have worked with a feature that is supported in the phone called LTE DRX, which is also then supported in the network. And with optimizing this usage, the mobile phones used on Ericsson network are consuming 26% less battery. And you have a 10% faster response time. So this is of course helping optimizing the usage of LTE phones. This is one example out of many. It's an example of how we are working end-to-end with the whole ecosystem to strengthen the user experience. But of course, the operators need to be ahead and focus on superior network performance as such. And I bring you another example from the region. Far EasTone in Taiwan, they decided that they wanted to have the best network possible. So we had a long engagement with them, where we modernized their network, expanded their network. We did a lot of end-to-end audits in the network, and we worked a lot with the network tuning and network optimization. And after 18 months, the result was quite mind-boggling. If you took an iPhone 5 as an example, it was 8 times faster to download than prior to this. And today, the HSPA network that Far EasTone has the best performance in the world. So if we look a little bit into network performance, the red curve is showing global network median on performance. And what you can see on the green one is the performance on the networks in Northeast Asia, the median. You can also see that the distance between the curves are enhanced. And that's of course partly due to that this region has been very early with LTE. And in 4 out of 5 markets, the best performing networks are powered by Ericsson. And if you narrow in on LTE, it's actually 5 out of the 5 best networks are powered by Ericsson. So network performance is something we are working a lot on, again with the goal to enhance the user experience. But we don't only have smartphone centers. In our region here, we have the second largest base of R&D resources for 2G, 3G and 4G. We have 8,200 services engineers. And I must say, working with the leading operators here, with this competence support we definitely have leading insights and solutions. The centers, in addition to the smartphone lab in Hong Kong, we have an interoperability center in Taiwan. We have an LTE RAN center in Chengdu in mainland China. We have a wireless innovation lab where we do demos and so on in Shanghai. Volta Center in Anyang, and a center that you all will visit tomorrow, a test center in Yokohama. And these are all used in order to drive the same thing: superior network performance and end-user experience. So, we definitely see that the network society is being realized in Northeast Asia. And with LTE now coming in China, and the frequency auctions for LTE now being finalized in Taiwan, all markets in the region will be driving LTE. We also have, very clearly so, users in this region that are very tech savvy, very interested in the new features and functionalities, very early adopters of that. And of course, we also have a strong focus on business transformation. And as Douglas said, there are 3 very interesting presentations coming here, talking about the cars, the smart cities in the region. But before we do that, I have one announcement, something that we are just going to press release, and that is that we are very, very happy to realize that we have been chosen by SoftBank in Japan to be a complete end-to-end supplier, vendor for their VoLTE network, voice over LTE. By the way, VoLTE, if you haven't tested it already in some of our demonstrations, is really something very big that is coming. It's really an enhanced voice and video experience over LTE that is coming very quickly in Korea, in Japan, and those markets. And we are very, very happy to announce that SoftBank also announced that they want to choose us for this. So, thank you very much.
Fantastic win. Great to end your presentation on a good commercial win. Well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, so our next speaker is from an operator, a friend and a customer. I'd like to say we're not going to be talking